Okay, hi everyone. How are you this afternoon? We're going to get started. Everyone should be able to see my screen and hear me now. Okay, thanks guys, I appreciate it. All right, so the first slide is up here. Expanded features on the Lightspeed Trader platform. Before we get started, I have to read you our disclaimer. Okay. This presentation is for informational purposes only. Nothing presented today should be construed as investment advice or recommendation to buy, sell, or hold any security or contract. Since we don't know everyone's investment objectives or risk tolerance, we are not endorsing any specific trading strategies. Security, derivative, and futures trading involves a substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Each investor must consider whether this is a suitable investment, since you may lose all or more than your initial investment. Past performance is not indicative of future results. Lightspeed is a division of Lime Brokerage LLC. Lime Brokerage LLC is not affiliated with these third-party market commentators, educators, or service providers. Data, information, and material content are provided for informational educational purposes only. This content neither is nor should be construed as an offer, solicitation, or recommendation to buy, sell any security or contracts. Any investment decisions made by the user through the use of such content is solely based on the user's independent analysis, taking into consideration your financial circumstances, investment objectives, and risk tolerance. Lime Brokerage LLC does not endorse, offer, nor recommend any of the services or commentary provided by any of the market commentators, educators, or service providers, and any information used to execute any trading strategies are solely based on the independent analysis of the user. Okay. So, my name is Joe Ely, as I said before. If you want further information on Lightspeed or a demo of our trading platform, or you're interested in opening an account with Lightspeed, please contact me. My email address is there, jely@limebrokerage.com. All right, I'm going to pull up the trading platform now. All right, I think we have it focused on the Lightspeed Trader platform. That should pop up there. I have 3 level 2 screens, 3 charts, orders window, messages, watch list positions, and so forth. Someone asked a question if this presentation will take into consideration both a PC and a Mac. No, this presentation is done on a PC, so we won't cover any of the Mac features or differences. So what my plan is today is to really go through the list of items that we presented as content for the webinar. And I'm going to go through each item fairly quickly, but hopefully in depth so that you learn how to use them. If you do have a question, please type it in. I'll try to answer most, if not all, the questions that are in there. If I take a minute or two, I should get back to your question. A lot of times people ask questions about something that might be covered in a few minutes and whatnot. So just bear with me and I'll hopefully get everyone's questions answered. So the focus for this webinar, do you want to minimize slippage, delayed executions on stock trades? Are you interested in pre-market stock trading? Do you want to learn how pro traders short hard to borrow stocks? This webinar is for you. The Lightspeed Trader platform offers all these features for active traders. Our traders use these features every single day to try to determine, what to trade and how to do it. So the first topic is fast order entry and executions. And there's three main ways that you can enter orders on the Lightspeed Trader platform. You can enter orders through the traditional order entry window. This box right here is your traditional order entry. You have your symbol, shares, price, what exchange you want to send it to, the order type, whether you want your shares visible or not, and the time in force. Time in force, that's how or when the order gets canceled. Day order is an order that's good for the entire day, pre and post market. Market day is an order that's good from 9:30 a.m. Eastern until 4 p.m. GTC is good till canceled. So as I was saying, there's three main ways to enter orders on the Lightspeed Trader platform. Your regular order entry window, you can use a hotkey or a hot button. And most traders choose one way to primarily enter their orders, although all of you, should really know how to do all three. If you just know how to use hotkeys, but you don't know how to use the order entry window, that can be a big problem, because if you have an issue where your hotkey is not working or it's not doing what you think it should, you should know how to be able to place an order through the order entry window. So I'm just going to, cover that really quickly right now. So when you click on a level 2 screen, it highlights the level 2 screen in yellow, and you should be able to see that here. My mouse, I have it going over where it's highlighted in yellow. So this level 2 for Ford, it automatically populates my order entry screen. I have my order entry screen linked to my level 2. Um, so the symbol's automatically populated. You click the up and down arrows to change the number of shares. Price, you can click up and down to change the price, or you can click on a price on the level 2 screen. If I click on, 995, it changes to 995. I click on 997, it changes to 997. The market, this is the exchange that you're going to route the order to. We have 10, 15 different order routes available. ARCA, for example, is one of the main exchange ECN routes, so choose that. Your order type, this is where you're going to enter either limit, market, stop, stop limit, trailing stop, and so forth. We'll just say limit. Visible, we're just going to leave it all visible right now. Time in force is day, so we're going to change it. Oh no, that is correct, because we're post market. So pre and post market, you have to have the time in force as day. So I'm going to click on 997 and then hit the buy button. The order goes live. You can see it live in my orders window right here. It has the time the trade was placed, the symbol, how many shares are filled. So 0 shares are filled out of 600, and here's the price. You know what? Also, it routed it to Edge X, because when I click on a price, it's going to populate not only the price I click on, but the market maker or the exchange. So Edge X is the best bid. I joined Edge X on this, demo trade by sending it there. So if I wanted to place another order, for example, we'll click on 995. It automatically populates NASDAQ, but say I don't want to use NASDAQ, I want to use ARCA. You can change it and then send the order. So here we'll send another order for 500 shares. And the order goes live and goes to ARCA. And that's the basic way to enter an order on the order entry screen. One of the main things that Lightspeed is known for is fast order entry and executions. A lot of traders gain that advantage by setting up hotkeys. So if you click on the settings wheel on the main Lightspeed window, there's two different places that you can set up a hotkey: in custom orders or keyboard. And I'm going to show you guys both. Custom orders, click on that. We click create new command. First thing you do is you give it a name. I'm going to call this one buy at bid, and we'll just say 200, because I'm going to use 200 shares. The side, we choose buy. Market, this is where you're going to put in which exchange you want the order routed to. So I'm going to choose ARCA, type in ARCA. Instruction, we're going to leave it on limit. I want a limit order. Through, I'm going to leave it at 0. This drop down here, you get to choose what price you want the order entered at: bid, ask, primary bid, primary ask, position price, market, and so forth. So I'm just going to choose bid. Order size with position to close, I'm going to say quantity and 0, because I'm not going to use this order to close out a position. I'm going to use it to get into a position. So without position to close, I'm going to say quantity, and we're going to set up my hotkey for 500. Pop-up confirm, since I'm using it as a hotkey and I want to get in very quickly without having to confirm an order, we're going to leave that on no. This right here, time in force day, just leave that at 8 o'clock, and you click map key now. So here is the hotkey, or custom order I should say, that I created: buy at bid 200. Now if I go over to the left here and I choose a hotkey to link it to, We're going to go down to Shift B, for example. I click on Shift B and then Map. So now that hotkey that I created to buy at the bid is linked to the key Shift B. So when I hit Shift B, it's going to send an order for the stock that is the active window. I'm going to click OK. So on my screen here, I click on Apple. Apple gets highlighted in yellow. If I hit Shift B, it automatically sent my order. You can see it right here. So there's a bunch of different questions about the hotkeys. I'm going to focus on those now. So let's see. How do you shift from one focus window to another using the keyboard? There's definitely a way to do that, Jay. I don't use that feature, so I'm not exactly sure, but I know that if you go into the someone here is telling me if you hit tab on the keyboard. So here I'm hitting the tab key and it's going between the 3 level 2 screens. So that's pretty easy. Another question that I get a lot, Ryan asks, what's the difference between smart routing and super smart routing? To be honest with you, I wouldn't use either. I mean, smart and super smart. I mean, super smart was designed when the market was more fragmented. Way back, I'm talking 10, 15 years ago or more, there were multiple different exchanges that didn't route to each other. So Lightspeed put a super smart order in place where it would take your order, and typically it was used for people trading large share sizes, maybe 10,000 shares, and it would spray the market to multiple different exchanges and routes. Back then it was kind of needed because the exchanges a lot of times wouldn't execute with each other. The rules have changed since then so that each exchange is going to automatically, if they can't fill an order, they're going to automatically route it out to an exchange that possibly could. So it's not really used much anymore. Ethan asks about the commission. So if you do use the super smart, and Ethan puts out an example, he says, when I create a super smart order, I want all my shares to send to different market makers at once. For example, 500 shares here, 500 shares there. How is the commission calculated? So he explains how it works fairly accurately. Commission is generated for each leg of the trade. So if you're sending out 500 share orders to 5 different places, you're going to get charged 5 different commission. Wendell asks, what does through mean? So I'll give you an example of how the through feature on the hotkey works. So we're going to go back in, we click on the gear in the upper right hand corner of the main Lightspeed window, go to custom orders, and I have a couple already set up. 2 sample sell orders that a lot of people ask about. So I'm going to click on this one, sell stop 20, and go to edit. This is a sell stop order 20 cents below my position price. So for example, on the side, I chose sell. Instruction, I choose stop, and it automatically grays out the market. Stop orders go to one specific route. The through amount, I put in 0.20, and then from the drop down, I chose position price. And then order size, I chose closeout, full position. So what this through means is it's going to place a sell stop 20 cents through my position price. So if I get into a stock at say 50, it's going to put my sell stop at 49.80. The sell target, I have that one set up as well. So I'm going to go to edit and look at that one. So this is a sell target where I'm using the through amount. So for a sell target, I want it to sell 30 cents higher than my position price. So again, the side we choose sell, market, I choose ARCA. instruction is limit. The through amount is 0.30, and on position price, close out full position. What this will do is it's going to sell, put an order to sell my position 30 cents higher than my position price, what I got in. So if I got into a stock at $50.02, it's going to send a limit order to sell at 50.32. Yuri asks, Alt 1, Alt 2, Alt 3 are missing. Why? Let's see. Yuri, I'm not sure why that is. I never noticed that. Someone asks a question. Paul asks, are there any commission fees charged for practice trading using the NASDAQ test symbol ZVZZT? No, there's no commission charged when trading ZVZZT. That symbol is a simple test symbol that you can enter orders on the system just to see how they're going to execute. But it is a test stock, and no commissions are charged, and no real trades are executed. Artem points out that it went, my hotkey went on 500 instead of 200. That's because I set it incorrectly. So if I go back to buy bid 200, I set it for 500 when I should have set it for 200. So I'll correct that. Click OK. Now it'll go with 200. There's a lot of questions about hotkeys, so I'm going to answer the few questions that are posted here and then move on to the next topic. Someone asks, how do you set up a hotkey to cover a short? So that's fairly simple. So we'll go to Tesla here. I'm going to sell short, I don't know, 200 shares. All right, so Tesla, if you look at my positions window, it says negative 200. So you would just simply set a hotkey to buy Tesla. So go to custom orders, create new command. You're going to choose the side is going to be buy because you're buying the cover. Market, I don't know, this time we'll choose NASDAQ. Here you could do, position price, and then you want to do through, I don't know, we'll just say negative 0.30. Order size with position to close, you're going to choose closeout. Without a position, I choose quantity and 0. We'll go to map key now. Whoops, I didn't give it a name, so it named it for me, named it custom 1. So we'll just call that shift 3, hit map, hit OK. So if I hit shift 3, it entered an order 30 cents below the current bid. So the current bid is 192.01. It entered an order with my hotkey to buy 30 cents below at 191.71. Someone asked about the LSPT route. LSPT is our smart router. The cost for the LSPT route is half of what most of the exchanges charge. Most of the ECN exchange routes are going to charge you 0.003 per share. If they route out, it charges higher, 0.0035. If you add liquidity, they pay 0.002. But typically, if you're just removing liquidity from a specific route, you're paying 0.003. And that's for pretty much all the exchange routes. The smart route LSPT charges half of that. It charges 0.0015 per share. Someone asks, can you use the LSPT route in MarketBox for hotkeys? You can definitely use LSPT route for hotkeys. The one big thing that you cannot use at the LSPT route for is pre and post market trading. So if you are trading pre-market, post-market, you have to choose an exchange route. Someone asks if how do you enter retail liquidity order type with 4 decimals? I don't really trade stocks with 4 decimals, so I'm not really familiar with how that would work. Is there a way to populate a price by clicking on a chart? I've never seen that work. Let's see. Yeah, I'm clicking on prices on the chart. It's not. I've never seen that. I don't believe that's available. All right. There's a lot of questions coming in, so I'm just going to read a few of them. Someone asks a straightforward question. Let's say you want to buy 2 different stocks using the same hotkey you just created. You would need to highlight the level 2 window for one, click the hotkey, and then you would have to click the other level 2 window and then the hotkey. So you would use the same exact hotkey on 2 different level 2 screens, and you're going to place the same order with the hotkey for 2 different stocks. Someone asks if you can use hotkeys for options. Yes, you can. I'm not covering that today, but there is a separate section for setting up hotkeys for options. Someone asks if you get a rebate for passive orders. Yes. So what getting a rebate means, a lot of really active traders that trade for a small, penny, 2 penny, 5 cents scalp. A lot of times, what they try to do is add liquidity. So that means if you post an order to buy, for example, on the bid on Ford here, the bid is $9.97 by 10. So I would place an order to buy at $9.97, and I would add to the best bid. And then if someone using the same route that I used hits my bid, that would be adding liquidity, and I would get paid 0.002 per share. Yeah, there's a lot of questions here, but we're definitely going to have to move on to the next topic in order to get through everything that we have covered here. So the third way to enter orders quickly on the Lightspeed platform is through hot buttons. A lot of people like hot buttons because it's very visual. So it's really a hotkey assigned to a button. So you can set up as many custom orders or keyboard orders that you want and have them linked to buttons. So to do that, I'm going to go to New, Hot Buttons, and this is just a blank Hot Buttons window. If you right click on it, you go to Add, we'll go to Orders, and here's all the custom orders that I created. So sell target 30. We're going to click Add. I'm going to change the price or the color to this pinkish red. Sell stop 20, we'll add that. I'm going to make that one a bright red. Then click OK. Now I have 2 hot buttons linked to these hotkeys that I created. We'll add buy at bid. I don't know, we'll make that one green. So now I have 3 basic hot buttons set up, and it's generated and derived directly from the hotkeys. So I went through and showed everyone the custom orders. Now I'm going to show you the keyboard hotkeys. So the keyboard hotkeys are preset hotkeys, so to speak. Some of the ones that a lot of people like to use are cancel order keys. So I click on keyboard, and then the drop-down menu, I choose cancel order keys, and you scroll through and you can find specific hotkeys that you want set up. So here I have one already linked to Control 0. It says cancel all. Another one, cancel all for stock. So the difference, these two are probably the two most common cancel order keys that people use. Cancel all orders. Sometimes the market's starting to move in one direction that's unexpected. You want to cancel all orders quickly. You can do that. Or if for some reason you have multiple orders out there for different stocks, but you only want to cancel all your orders for one stock, that's available as well. I have that set for Control 1 and Control 0. Again, on this drop down, there's all kinds of different hotkeys set up, predetermined hotkeys, non-trading function keys. These hotkeys allow you to move, for a next symbol. Like if you're, scrolling through a watch list, you can set up a hotkey for the next symbol. You can set up hotkeys to toggle windows. You can set it up to show your news windows and so forth. There's also preset closeout entire position orders. You choose that from the drop down, and then you have all these different preset hotkeys set up. Trying to see some of the other ones. Miscellaneous size orders. You can decrement or increment an order by a specific amount. So if you place a trade on a highly volatile stock like Apple, right? You place an order at the bid. You want to buy at 185.01, and then it starts moving up. If you can set up a hotkey to increment your existing order by 1 penny, so you would click on that, and then you would link it to a specific hotkey, and then click map. So now Shift 4 is going to increment my order by 1 penny. You click OK, and then it's set up. Someone has a good question here. They say, can you have two windows with hot buttons, one for long and one a second one for shorts? Absolutely. You can open up a new hot buttons window, and you can have two of them here. And this one, I'll just put in a couple of different ones here. So you can have multiple different hot button windows set up. All right, so I'm going to move on to our next topic here. I'm looking at the outline here, fast order entry for closing out your position. So we covered some of that with the hotkeys and hot buttons. One of the fastest way to close out a position is you right click on the position in the positions window. So if you look here, I have Tesla, Apple, and Ford. Microsoft, I've already covered that. If I right click on Tesla, I can go close out Tesla from the drop down, close out 100%, close out 50%. You can also go to close out all. This means all positions. So I could close out all positions at 25, 50, 75%, 100%, or I could close out all long or all short. So I'm going to choose all long, and it immediately sends orders to close out my long positions. But that's a really quick and easy way, if something happens and you need to get out of positions quickly. Right click on symbol on your positions minder and go to close out. Custom order configurations. We covered closeouts, stops, stop limits, stop market, trailing stops. So on your regular order entry screen under type, this is where you're going to choose your stop, stop limit, and trailing stop. A stop order means as soon as the stock hits your stop price, it's going to send a market order to buy or sell depending upon what you want it to do. A stop limit, you have to enter two prices. So I'm going to choose that. You have your stop and your limit. So if I'm long Apple, for example, Apple's at 182.50. I'm long at 182.50. I want to set a stop limit if Apple goes below, say, 182. So we're going to set stop to 182, right? And then the limit, as soon as the stop is hit, the limit is the order that gets sent. So since Apple's a stock that moves fairly quickly and can move in multiple pennies at a pop, I might want to set my limit 10 cents or 15 cents below that. So what happens is I'm long, say 1,000 shares at 182.50. The stock doesn't do what I expect. It drops down to 182. As soon as it hits 182, it's going to send a limit order to sell at 181.85. And if I can get filled at a better price, if the best price is 81.99, I will get filled at that price. But the limit gives you kind of like a window to get filled. Now, if the one big downside to using a stop limit is if Apple screams right past my price and drops down to 181.50, it is possible that I don't get filled at all. I've seen it happen. It's not common, but it definitely does happen. Trailing stop. So a trailing stop is pretty cool. Let's go look at a different stock. We'll look at Tesla here. So I'm going to choose trailing stop. So during the day, we'll say, for example, I bought Tesla at 191.50, and it moves up 191.60, 191.70, 191.75. I can set a trailing stop by 10 cents, for example, or any amount that you want. 10 cents might be too narrow of a trail amount for Tesla because, again, that's a stock that moves in fairly large segments. But we'll just say 10 cents for example's sake. So I'm long at 191.50, and I enter a trail amount of 10 cents. So what it does is it automatically sets my stop 10 cents below the price as soon as I enter it. So if it's 191.50, it's going to set my stop at 191.40. As soon as it moves up to say 191.60, it's going to move my stop up to 191.50, and it's going to continually trail the high price by 10 cents. So all of a sudden it pops up to 191.70. It moves my stop price up to 191.60, and it keeps going up as the stock goes up. Your stop goes up as the stock goes up. Say it tops out at, I don't know, we'll say 191.94. That's the top of that particular move. My stop's going to be at 191.84. And then if it starts to pull back, if it pulls back that 10 cents and hits the 191.84, it's going to sell my position. So we have a lot of questions and a lot of material, so I'm going to move through the material fairly quickly here. Some of the other advanced order type features available. Not that many people use them, but people that do use them have specific trading strategies as to why they're going to use them. So on Lightspeed Trader, for example, you can choose add only. If you are a rebate trader, you're trading to scalp a penny or two and you want to add liquidity on your entry and your exit, if you choose add only, you are only going to get filled if you are adding liquidity. I don't suggest that for most traders. It has to be something that you're familiar with and part of your strategy, but it is a feature that is available. Limit on open, limit on close, limit on open balance, market on open. These are order types that not that many people use, but they are very useful. For example, if you think, I don't know, Ford is going to be a big mover today, you want to buy it on market on open, you choose market on open. Primary peg, for example, that is going to peg your order to the best bid or best ask, depending upon whether you're buying or selling of the primary exchange that the stock is listed on. If it's listed on NASDAQ, it's going to follow NASDAQ and peg your order to that price. Midpoint peg, that's another order type that in the past was used a lot. What it does is it pegs your order to the midpoint. So a lot of stocks, for example, here Apple's trading at 182.50 by 182.60. It's going to peg your order halfway between, so your order is going to be 182.55. And if it moves up or down, it's going to change the order of the price of your order. So one of the other things, choosing how to route your order. A lot of people that are just starting out, they really don't have any experience in the market. They want to know how to route their order. A lot of people choose the LSPT route because it's a lower cost. LSPT is 0.0015 per share, so that's 15 cents per 100 shares traded. So a lot of people starting out choose that because it's easy and you do get a very good fill. People that are scalping or highly active traders, a lot of times they have a reason as to why they want to use one exchange over another. If you look at our time and sales window, you can see this little code here. On Ford, they're all R's here. Up on Apple, we got R, R, Q. Let's see. Those are the primary ones trading right now. Each one of these symbols represents the exchange that the order traded on. So if you're trading Ford and you see R across the board here, that means that the liquidity is at that exchange. So R stands for ARCA, I believe. Let's see. So to find what the codes mean, what the letters mean, you right click on the level 2. You go to level 2 design fonts and colors. Over on the right here, there's a set exchange codes. You click on that. And this lists out all the exchanges and what code it stands for. So for example, NYSE is N, Edge X is J, Edge A is K, BATS is Z, ARCA is R, NASDAQ is Q. So you can see what exchange is active. So if you're an active trader, you're getting in and out very quickly, you see one specific exchange pop up a lot on the time and sales, you might want to send your order there because that's where the liquidity is and you have a better chance of getting filled quicker. If you see all R's and you route your order to Edge X, well, the liquidity is not at Edge X, it's at ARCA. So you have an advantage by seeing where the liquidity is and routing your order to that exchange. A lot of questions coming through, and I'm going to go through and answer the questions that I think the most people will see a benefit from. Someone asks, David asks, could you post bids and offers yet in the dark pool? So we do have dark pool routes available. Let's see here. Most of them are only available during the day. Let's see. I'm going to choose limit. So that's another thing that a lot of people don't realize. Depending upon the order type that you enter, you're going to have different markets available, different time and force available. So if I have some advanced order type, ECN Smart or whatever, it's only available on one market. If I choose, limit on close, it's only available on one market. But if I choose limit, all the markets are going to be available. So now I lost track of what I was doing here. So try to go back to that question. Oh, offering bids and offers on the dark pool. Sure. So there's multiple different dark pools available. Some of these routes I'm not even 100% familiar with. Not sure what checks is, but I know we have 3 or 4 different dark pools. Let me see if I can pull them up on the website. So if you go to the Lightspeed website, you go to pricing, and then Lightspeed routing fees. You can see all of the routing, all the routes available, and what the fees are. So some of the dark pools that we have, there's a LSPD Dark Assault. That is a Lightspeed route that only goes out to dark pools. We have Cross Plus, Crossfinder. Those are, I believe, Credit Suisse dark pools. Let me scroll through. We have ITG alternate, ITG posted, ITG VWAP, TWAP. There's a night route, night fan, night covert. A lot of these routes are dark pools, PDQ, ATS, and so forth. So you can place bids and offers on these different dark pools, absolutely. Someone asks, what's the disadvantage of LSPT, the LSPT route? Since we decide where the order goes, it goes through our market maker partners and then out to the exchanges. Your execution could be a little bit slower than if you went directly to an exchange. Typically, your exchange ECN routes are going to execute your order faster. But that said, we have hundreds, if not thousands, of people using the LSPT route, and they're very happy with the fills that they get. It's not like there's a very noticeable difference, but again, depending upon your strategy, if you were getting in and out very quickly, you could see somewhat of a difference. Yeah, so I see multiple people asked about the LSPT route and what the difference is and why to choose it and whatnot. And I think I covered that. If anyone has questions about that, please let me know. All right. So one of the other bullet points that we had on the description was the hidden cost of trade execution through some market maker trading desks. And that's going to be similar to the LSPT route, but there are a lot of firms out there that really are more aggressive or significantly more aggressive in having their market maker partners trade against your order flow. So a lot of the big national brokerage firms out there, when you place a trade, they decide how it's going to be routed, and a lot of times they'll route it to a market maker partner. The market maker partner might trade against it. They might, eh, you know, whether this is legal, illegal, against the rules, or in a gray area, I'm not 100% sure. But based on what people tell me, and I talk to dozens, hundreds of people a week that come from different firms, a lot of these large national firms, and they say their executions are very slow. And it's because, these market maker partners, are trading against your order flow. They might, hold your order for a fraction of a second, even if they're intentionally or unintentionally doing it, because of the way their system works, I don't know. But, a lot of times, the timing of orders getting entered and executed is slower. So when you go out to a firm that doesn't charge routing fees, a lot of people that use some of these big companies, big national firms that don't have routing fees, they come to Lightspeed and they see the routing fees and they're like, oh my gosh, I can't pay that. I'm going to end up paying more in commission with you. And they don't want to open the account because they think that the cost of using Lightspeed is more expensive than their free routing at XYZ firm. Well, if you use XYZ firm and you place an order for 1,000 shares and they execute your trade a penny away from where you thought you should have been executed, well, that's slippage. If you're trading Apple and you go to buy it at 182, I don't know, we'll say 55. With Lightspeed, you can choose EdgeX and route it to EdgeX and get filled at that price, or have a good chance of getting filled at that price. If you route the order, through one of these big national firms, they route it to their market making desk, and they say, oh well, that order, we're gonna execute it now, and then all of a sudden you get filled at 182.56 or 182.57. That slippage, that penny or two times 1,000 shares, is a lot more than the routing fee of 0.003. So, the cost and the true difference a lot of times is going to be, you're going to pay, a penny or half a penny or 2 pennies more when you're using one of those market maker trading firms. Um, I hope that's clear and people understand what the cost of using that type of execution is. And it's not to say all of them are bad or they're going to give you a lesser fill all of the time. No, that's not the case. I mean, a lot of them do a very good job. Obviously, they're in business, they're regulated, um, and they have to follow the rules. And from what I've seen, they all do. And when they don't, FINRA fines them, and you can see in the news they get fined $1 million, $5 million, $10 million, and they write the check for the fine, and all's good in the world. Um, but just allowing someone else to have control over your order a lot of times is not to your benefit. I have a client who posted something. I just want to read it. David says LSPT routing is just as fast. I've been trading 20 years. It appears that way. I mean, to a lot of people, a lot of trading executions, it definitely appears that way. So most people don't have an issue. I have had some people say, "Oh, well, I'm trading, 10,000 shares, and whatever." There's certain circumstances where it may not be, but in most cases, it's going to be just as fast. Pre-market trading is the next item on my list. So we covered that briefly. Pre-market, you cannot use the LSPT route. You have to use an exchange route: ARCA, NASDAQ, BATS, EDGE. You have to use a limit order. You cannot place a market order pre or post market. You have to enter a limit order. You have to enter a limit order on an exchange route. Lightspeed starts trading. The Lightspeed Trader platform starts at 4 a.m. Eastern, and we trade all the way up to 8 p.m. Eastern. So there's a very long trading day. A lot of people that come over from some of those big, large national online firms, they don't start trading till 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, or something like that. A lot of people that want to get into a position early in the morning, they're locked out because they just can't do it. Lightspeed provides access. That's one of the big things that makes us uh, a firm that a lot of active traders go to is you have access. You can place a trade at 4 a.m. if that's what you need to do. You have an advantage over someone that if you think XYZ stock's going to run today and they can't get in at their big national brokerage firm until 8 a.m. Well, you have 4 hours, a 4 hour head start. A lot of traders do like that. A lot more questions here. Locates, definitely starting to run out of time. I see on my outline here, locates. So pre-market trading, how do you determine if there's pre-market liquidity in a stock? The biggest example, I can show you right now, pre and post market. So here is post market liquidity for Ford, and here is post market liquidity for Tesla, and here is post market liquidity for Apple. So on the screen you see zeros and 999s. Those are exchanges or market makers that don't have quotes. So if you look for Ford, you have NASDAQ. They have 10,000 shares. So on the Lightspeed Trader system, you have to add 2 zeros to each print or post. So this trade 1, that's 100. This trade for 10, that's 1,000. On the bid here, 100. So you add 2 zeros, that's 10,000. NASDAQ is bidding 10,000 shares at 995. ARCA 1800, EDGE X 400, EDGE A 100. So if you look at the level 2 screen, you can see the exact number of shares available on the bid and the ask for any symbol, any stock. If Tesla has hot news, something's going on, a lot of times you will see double or triple the number of posts here. So you'll see more exchanges or market makers posting price, and you can see the exact number of shares available at each price point. All right. Yeah, so we're going to get into short. A couple people have questions about shorting, so we're going to get into that in just a minute. One of the other items on my outline here is looking for stocks with movement pre and post market. Built into the Lightspeed Trader platform is the risers and fallers. So this scan gives you the stocks that have risen or fallen the most at any point in the day, pre-market, during the market, and post-market. So if you look at AZO, it has a $13.75 change. On the upside, NVR has down $47. You can also scan it by, you can also sort it by percent. So you right click, go to sort by percent. You can see AVP has the biggest percent change on the upside, and I don't know why this one's not sort. Oh, here we go. I'm looking at the wrong column. TOCA is down 37% post market, and this is a good way to scan for stocks that have big moves pre, post, and during the day. So shorting hard to borrow stocks, how to determine if a stock is hard to borrow or locatable, the daily easy to borrow list, and so forth. So on each level 2 screen, you see a letter right here on forward, this E that stands for easy to borrow. That means that you can short the stock. If it said L, that would mean locate required. That means that you cannot short it, but it's possible that we can locate shares for you and make it available to short. And then the third code is T, as in threshold. That is a stock that is not available to short. So when you put up a new symbol, you can tell right away if the stock is available to short. So I just pulled up this CAPR, it changed to L. And one of the other things that you notice on the CAPR, this 100% and it's red. So this is a cash stock. It requires 100% to pay for the stock. You cannot use margin. On a fully marginable stock, it'll say 25%. There are some stocks in between that might say 50%, 70%, and whatnot. And you could see that there. Someone also asks, what does CB mean? Circuit breaker. So if you Google what is a stock circuit breaker and read what Investopedia says about circuit breakers, there are circuit breakers for the market and circuit breakers for individual stocks. So if a stock moves a certain percentage in the day, the exchange has a circuit breaker that prevents short selling and things like that. But if you Google it, you look it up on Investopedia, it's explained out fairly well there. So this is, you can determine if a stock is available to short, right? You can see the E, the L, or the T. Lightspeed has a program built into it, this short request, right? So this just opened up, and it's a real great feature because you can submit a request electronically and get an answer back within a second. So it defaults to the symbol that is highlighted in your level 2 screen. You change the quantity and however many shares you want. CAPR, since it's only 37 cents, I doubt I'm going to get it, but I'm going to hit locate. It says searching. Inventory does not exist. So you cannot short CAPR. So we go over to, let's say, we'll go over to forward and hit locate. Well, because it's easy to borrow, it doesn't say. So I'd have to find one that says L to try to request it. Anybody have a symbol that might be hard to borrow that they want me to look up? Here we go. All right, let's see. OBLN. Yeah, the low price stocks are definitely difficult, but we'll try. We'll hit locate. Yeah, there's none of that. Lift. Let's try lift. A lot of times it's hard to get. There we go. All right, so lift is available. So you can short, I put in a request for 200 shares, and this one's fairly expensive. So for a cost of 0.038 per share, for 200 shares, cost is $7.60. If I hit accept, I'm going to be charged at $7.60, and and 200 shares are put aside for me to short all day. If I don't short it, I'm still charged the $7.60. You can get in and out of the position as many times as you want and only pay the fee once. So if you day trade, short lift in and out all day long, you just need to locate it once, and the system will let you, short it as many times as you want, as long as you cover it. All right. I have another. So on the Lightspeed Trader, I'm going to change over real quick to the Lightspeed Trader website. All right, so this is the Lightspeed Trader website once you log in. So this is an old IRA account that I have, but if you go to shorts and then borrow rates, this is the fee to borrow a stock overnight. So it's a long list. It lists out all the stocks and what the cost is for each individual stock, and this is per share. So here AAC is 0.0001. Oh, and back to the locate feature. A common cost is 0.003 per share, 0.004 per share. That's fairly common. Sometimes on a highly volatile stock that a lot of people want to short, it's going to be more expensive. The lift was almost 4 cents a share. I've seen it 5 or 6 cents a share a few times, and then once I even saw it at 12 cents a share for a highly volatile stock. I've also seen it be very, very little, 0.0001 per share. So it goes depending on the stock. Someone asked, how long can your short position remain open? It can remain open as long as you want, as long as we're able to locate it overnight. So that locate that you get there, that's only for the day. Technically, you could hold the short overnight, but then our clearing firm needs to locate the stock for you, and they'll charge whatever overnight borrow rate. Here, this is the overnight borrow rate. They're going to charge you that for an overnight position. So here, if I LYFT, so if you shorted 200 shares of Lyft today, you would pay that 0.0038 to short it during the day, and then you'd also pay this to hold it overnight. So that's a little more than 4.5 cents. Let's see. It is 5:30. We're scheduled to go for an hour, so I'm just going to look through my my notes here and see if there's anything else that we wanted to cover. Yeah, I think that's all the content that we had. There's so many questions that have flown through that I apologize. I was not able to get to all of them. If I did get to all of them, it would literally we'd be here for another hour, and unfortunately we can't do that. A couple of quick questions. People ask, can Lightspeed link to eSignal? Can it link to Trade Ideas? It does link to both. With eSignal, it links so that you can pass symbols back and forth between eSignal and Lightspeed, but you cannot trade directly through eSignal. Trade Ideas, it links with Lightspeed, same thing. You can have symbols link back and forth between the two platforms. All right. Again, though, I do apologize for not being able to get to all the questions. There's a lot of good questions in there that I was not able to answer. If anyone really does need an answer to a question, what you can do is email me directly. My email again is jely@limebrokerage.com. I'd be more than happy to answer your question as best I can via email. Um, Someone asks, can you show how you got the short borrow window to appear? I assume you mean in the Lightspeed Trader platform. And that also brings up another good point. The short request feature in the Lightspeed Trader platform, you have to request it. There's an agreement that you have to agree to, and you have to reply back and say that you agree to the terms, and then it gets added um, afterwards. It's not a default feature available on the platform. So with anything in Lightspeed, you just go to new and then you choose short request. And if you haven't requested it specifically, it's not going to be there. All right. Well, our time has run out. I really appreciate everyone participating. We had a lot of good questions. I think we covered most, if not all, the material that we had for you. This webinar will be recorded and should be on our website within the next few days. So if you do want to watch it again, you can certainly do that. You can email me, like I said before, jely@limebrokerage.com. Thank you for participating tonight. Again, I hope you learned something and look forward to working with you in the future. Thank you so much. Have a good night.